Hey guys, it's winter time, so not doing much fishing these days. I don't like fishing in the cold. So I've been doing some odds and ends, like cleaning up my tackle, putting some things away for the winter. And what I thought I'd do is show you how to save a little bit of money on fishing line, specifically braided fishing line. And basically the way you do that is by reusing the line that you used the previous season by turning it around backwards on your new spinning reel. So basically I have an empty reel here, a Tournament MB speed spool by Lew's, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to reuse the line on this reel that I've used all season by flipping it around backwards, and I'll show you how to do that. First of all, you guys probably know this, but if you're using braided line, you need to put a monofilament backing on this spool before you put the braid on there. Otherwise, you hook a big fish, or it didn't even have to be that big. That braided line is very slick, and it will spin on that spool and give you problems. So most people put a monofilament backing on there because monofilament is pretty cheap. Or I've even heard where you can even like put a round or two of black electrical tape on there. But I like monofilament, and I've got a partially used spool of it here, so I'm going to use some of that to put the backing on this reel. And let me show you how to do that. All right, first of all, you got to tie the end of the monofilament onto the spool, and make sure you go through the line guide. And then one of the tricky parts here is to get this line underneath that spool and then back up again through it so that you can tie your knot to secure it to the spool. Some people go ahead and use those holes that are machined into the spool. I never do that. I usually just tie it around the I don't know, kind of like the barrel of the spool, if you want to think of it that way. So anyway, I've got it through there, and this isn't a knot tying tutorial because I'm not that good at knots, but the knot I'm going to use to tie this on there is called, I believe it's called an arbor knot. Alright, so you wouldn't have to suffer through me doing it. I got my arbor knot tied on to the reel with the monofilament, and I'm going to use for backing. And I'm going to use my Berkley portable line spooling station to put that backing on there. I've done a review on this product. If you're interested, go check it out. I'll put the link up here somewhere. I'm not too fond of it, but for the purposes of what I'm doing today, I think it'll probably be okay. I'm not going to be putting a whole lot of monofilament on here, so I'm not worried about that little rubber pad contaminating the line. But anyway, I'm going to probably put quite a bit of this backing on there. I know some people only put like 4 or 5 layers of it, but I'm going to take it probably almost to like 10 or 11, just because the more monofilament I have on there, the less that I'm going to need of the braid that's more expensive. So I don't know, that's probably a pretty good amount right there. Let me take the reel out of the seat here and show you how much I have on there. I'm basically, let's see if you can see that, taking it almost all the way up to that first little bevel on the spool. So I don't know, there's probably 10 or 15 layers of it on there. Alright, let me clip this monofilament and then I'll show you what's next. Alright, this is the reel that I'm going to pull the braid off of and onto the new reel. This is 50-pound Power Pro Slick 8, I think it was, and I've used it for one season. So what I'm going to do is basically leave it on the reel here, and I'm going to take the end of it, and I'm going to attach it to the end of the monofilament that I just put on the reel that I'm about to fill. And I'm going to connect that braid to monofilament using an Alberto knot, and You can go find a tutorial online for that Alberto knot, but I'm not going to bore you with it here. So when you come back, I'll have already tied that knot. Alright, welcome back. So here's what I've got so far. Here's my the reel I'm putting the line onto, and here's the reel that I'm taking the line off of. And what I've done is I'm using my spooling station, and I've basically put the reel in the seat backwards, and I'm going to use I've tightened the tension down, the spool tension down almost as far as I can on this reel, and I'm going to use that to basically keep that reel from backlashing as I'm pulling the line off of it. Here's my my handy dandy Alberto knot that I use to splice the line together, and so now I'm just going to start taking up that braid. Make sure I got the spool released there, and I'm not all knotted up, and I'm just going to start filling this reel with that braid. And I don't know, can you see that? Let's see if I can turn that around so you get a better view of it. Okay, so I have pulled all the braid off of that reel and basically have turned it around. Went a little bit too far because I've got a little bit of the old backing on there, but I'll pull that off. And you can see I got nice, bright, shiny new line on this reel, and the old stuff is down there at the bottom toward the backing. The only thing is I'm not real happy with how full that is, so I may pull that back off and add a little bit more backing to it, so I've got the line almost all the way up to the end of the spool. So anyway, there you go. There's a way to maybe save a little bit of money on braided line because that stuff's kind of expensive. And I don't know, hope that helps you out a little bit. And I'm going to do this with a couple of my other reels before I put them to bed for the winter.